Today we're going to be checking out the ESP LTD EC1000 with piezo that I bought from Sweetwater for $1,149.
Okay, very light. Now, of course, I'm not shocked. I picked this guitar. This guitar is under 7 pounds. I picked the guitar out of the 4 that were available. And what's in the box, what's included is, hold on, typical Allen wrenches. You get 3 Allen wrenches, 1 for the truss rod and 2 for the bridge. So far, so good. Very nice. Okay, this is a foam protector for the switch and a card that says, this certifies that your instrument has been passed the Sweetwater inspection. First, let's tune it up. There we go. For the action, we have off the 12th fret on the low E string, we have it sitting at 1.5 millimeters off the 12th fret. On the low E, on the high E, we have it sitting at exactly 1.5 millimeters, which is, as you know, where I like it. For reference, I always like to measure the 3rd fret just to see, and this one's sitting at 0.75 on the low E, and of course, 0.75 on the high E. So very consistent. This one's made in Korea. Mahogany body, I believe 3 pieces with a 3-piece mahogany neck, and the neck is all flat sawn, no quarter sawn center like some guitars. 3-ply binding, as you can see, it goes around the headstock. Then you have binding on the neck where it connects. Then it goes back to 3-piece binding on the body. This is also a quilted blue top. 2 Seymour Duncans, you have a JB in the bridge, 59 in the neck. 3-way switch, you have 3 knobs. This is volume for the magnetics, tone control with a coil split, and then a volume control for your acoustic transducer pickup. That's right, this will make this guitar sound like an acoustic, which is why you have a 3-way switch right here, and that's to be electric only, blend acoustic and electric, acoustic only. You also have a dual output jack that allows you to send 1 cable to an electric amp and 1 cable to an acoustic amp, so you can split the guitar into 2 signals. Something else I want to point out is these saddles that are the transducer pickups, they can corrode with your sweat. So if you have a guitar like this, you definitely want to get used to wiping it down with a dry cloth as soon as you're done playing, especially if you're sweating on stage, because these have a tendency to get corroded and sometimes short out, and it gets problematic. Something else we want to talk about is this top. Obviously it's gorgeous, but what we don't know is it a veneer or is it a solid top? So I took the pickup out, and what's really nice to see is they actually shielded the pickup cavities. So not only did they shield all the electronics with shielding paint, but they actually did the pickup cavities as well. But if you can see, not only can I see it in the screws, where the screws are at, you can see the very blonde wood, but right here you can see a little piece exposed. So as you can see, it's maple. What I don't know is it a 1/4-inch maple cap with a quilted maple top? But I'm telling you, I really believe this is an actual solid 1/4-inch maple cap. So there you go. A couple things to note about the pickup is it's stamped made in America right on the pickup. So now looking inside the electronics, again, like I said, you can see that shielding paint. There was actually foil on the back plate like there should be. We have a made in Korea potentiometer for the volume pot, and then we have a push-pull pot for the tone pot, and again, these are 500K. Now this is the Fishman transducer assembly. This is for the pickup for the acoustic, and the volume it's controlled to, and the switch, and very put together very nicely. And the battery over there is just powering this Fishman unit. And then over here we have the 3-way switch, and you can see that's wired up pretty good. Everything looks really nice and tidy, nice and clean. Nothing really bad. I mean, you can see right here where they missed some spots on the shielding paint. You gotta understand, stuff like that, you think you want to pick that stuff apart, but the reality is, if you do that, no guitars are gonna pass. It's just the reality of things. As long as it's functioning correctly, obviously this stuff gets tested, and as long as it's functioning correctly, there's nothing to be concerned there. So that's nothing that the spotty paint wouldn't concern me unless I was having a problem. So we're gonna see. We'll know if they'll have a problem. Now, I know some of you are going to want to know the thickness of the neck, especially since this is considered a thin U is what they call this. Now, something I want to point out is I'm going to measure the thickness at the 1st fret and the 12th fret, but if you can see here from the side profile, there's a pretty thick volute to make this neck stronger. So when I measure, I'm going to measure right behind this 1st fret. And I already did that, so let's take a look. And the thickness on that was 20.32 millimeters, so relatively thin. I mean, that's a thin neck at the first fret. So now we're at the 12th fret, and let's take the side profile. I already measured it, and the measurement ended up being at 22 millimeters, so 22.03. So one thing to say about this neck is it feels really thin. So the fact that the measurements are saying it's thin is really nice. Sometimes, you know, when you play a neck, it might feel thin or thick, and then when you do the measurements, they're not as thin or thick as you think they are. In this case, I think the neck feels exactly like the measurements are saying. It feels really, really thin, really fast, definitely more of a shredder type neck. But of course, anybody can play this neck. I just think if you're into that kind of neck, I think you'll love this. If you're into a thicker neck, you may want to try it first. While we're checking out this guitar in detail, let's check out a couple features that I thought were really cool. It has extra jumbo frets, so these are really tall frets. And you can see that they have been polished with really, really good detail. And then you come back to this graphite nut. Okay, let's go ahead and test it with fret wire here. And look at that. It's sitting there perfect. It also has a 14-inch radius fretboard. The other thing that was interesting is it has mother of toilet seat flag inlays, which look great. You can see the kind of white pearl look to them. And if you haven't noticed, this guitar is 24 frets, which if you're looking for a Les Paul style guitar with 24 frets, here you go. Another question I get asked a lot is the pickup height. What should the pickup height be? And on almost every guitar manufacturer will specify what they want or what they think the pickup height should be on a guitar. What I will tell you is if you watch YouTube videos on how to adjust pickup height, if you watch 4 different videos, you're gonna get 4 different answers about what the pickup height should be. Some will say that the neck should be 4 millimeters from the top of the slug to the bottom of the string after you push the string down at the last fret. Some will say 2.5 millimeters, some will say 1.8 millimeters, and of course single coils are different than humbuckers. And of course, if you have active pickups can get closer than passive pickups because active use a much lighter, softer magnet. So there's all kinds of specifications, but let me tell you what I use as a guideline. I always use my ear, which is what I said, but I know a lot of you are like, but where do you start? And what I will tell you is that a safe range is 2.5 millimeters from the top of a slug to the bottom of the string, and that's after you depress the string on the last fret. So what's nice about that is I use this tool. It's called the ESP tool. You guys have seen this. I've been using this for years on my video. Now keep in mind there are cheaper versions on Amazon and they're not going to be as thick, so you need to measure yours. This is about 2 millimeters thick. So what I like about this, I just press the last fret on the low E string and I slide it underneath, and you can see in this case it's touching the pole piece and the string. So this is about 2 millimeters, actually just a little under 2 millimeters from the pole piece to the string, which I think is just a little too low. Like I said, I like to start with 2.5, but we'd have to listen first to know if it's wrong. On the neck pickup, you can see the gap is a little larger and definitely closer to 3 millimeters, maybe even 3.5. And what's nice about that is, again, a lot of times you'll see that the neck pickup is a little lower. Some people like to tilt the pickup so the treble side of the pickups are close to the strings, really common with single coils. It's up to you. Again, there's just all kinds of ways to do this. However, I like that quick little reference. Like I said, I would set your pickups to 2.5 millimeters from the bottom of the string and then start moving them down from there. I don't think they need to be much closer than that. It's not really common. Now, I know some of you are going to ask about this particular problem. When you press this down, you'll notice that this side of the pickup is lower, further from the string, I should say, than this side. And you can see that these tilt, but a lot of times they don't stay that way. So do these have to be perfect? Do they have to be 2.5 or whatever the measurement is exact? No, but think about this. Obviously, the further away you get from the bridge, the warmer the sound's going to be. So if this is getting closer to the string than this, and you're finding your neck pickup being a little muddy or bassy, sometimes kind of tilting it forward a little bit and lining it up with that string might be perfect. So how do you do that? The way I do it is I take the pickup out of the ring, and you can use foam, the foam that comes with your pickups, and just shove some foam underneath there until it lines up perfectly. So a lot of my guitars have foam underneath the pickups just to make sure it's right. And more importantly, for the purpose of this video, these pickups seem fine. Like I said, this seems just a little high. That seems almost perfect for me, but we will go, and if I notice anything, I'll just make a quick adjustment. So now it's time to go ahead and start checking out the guitar and the way it sounds and plays. And the first thing I notice is the bridge is a little too close to the strings. Let me show you. This is the bridge. You can hear it's just kind of breaking up the Princeton just a little bit. Go to the neck pickup and a little smoother. So what I'm going to do is I just have a Phillips head screwdriver here, and I'm going to go ahead and lower it. Now I can measure this But like I said, I'm going to go off my ear because I kind of have a sense of it. And so you know, just a light adjustment. Let's go back to that bridge. Here we go. It's already taking the little bit of that top end sizzle off, and it warmed up a little bit. Now what I usually go for is I want them to be pretty even in the way they sound. So I'm going to go ahead and just reduce the bridge just a little bit. Lower it, I should say. I apologize. Lower it. Raise the neck. Quarter turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. A couple things I should point out is that the switch was backwards of what I think I was explaining earlier. In the down position of this switch right here, we have the acoustic. Right now I'm just running through a Fender Princeton, a 68 reissue. This is just beautiful. The action's low. The gauges, strings is 10 gauge. There's a 24 3/4 scale length, so it's a little shorter of a scale length like a Gibson Les Paul, so it's really comfortable to play. And I'm getting a beautiful sounding acoustic out of this. Let's go ahead and record something, and let me show you what you can do with this acoustic. So let's go ahead and loop some chords. So what I'm using now is I'm using a compression pedal as a boost. I'm using the Keeley Compressor. It's my favorite compressor. I'm using it as a boost. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is just I'm gonna play that loop, and I'm gonna show you how just using a compressor, you can use a boost pedal, but I find when you boost an acoustic tone, especially on a guitar like this, where it's a transducer pickup on an electric guitar, the boost just really puts those high-end chirp, the pick chirps over the top. So the compressor as a boost pushes up the volume, but then takes off the pick attack, which I don't think people will notice once they're mixed together. So let's see. Here we go. Here's the loop. So now I'm going to go to the magnetics, neck pickup, and just use a Tubescreamer. Same licks. Here we go, ready? I love the guitar. It sounds really big. It's got a lot of punch, a lot of momentum behind the sound of it, which you get with usually a Les Paul style guitar like this. But the neck is super fast. In fact, the more I play it, the more it feels not just like, but if you're similar, if you have a reference of the Gibson Les Paul 60s neck, this neck will feel very similar. I want to just play some heavier tones. And again, I'm going to stay on the magnetics right now. Okay, so coil split. I have to say how impressed I am with the guitar. The fit and finish on the guitar is perfect. The color looks great. It feels great. It sounds great. It's a really impressive instrument. In fact, if this guitar said made in Japan or made in the USA, I would think this is a $3,000 guitar with no exceptions. Really, what's really impressive, it's really hard to get this piezo system to work. Piezo, system to work. To give you a reference, I'm going to put it in the middle position of the humbuckers, and I'm going to strum the acoustic on, this is the acoustic system. This is just the magnetics in the middle. Now let me coil split. So this is what the two single coils are going to sound like. And what's nice is this is a blend. So this is the acoustic and the magnetics. And of course now your two humbuckers and your acoustic blend. Just the acoustic. Blend those magnetics in. Very cool features indeed. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, if you want to see what I end up doing, the modifications I do to this guitar, you stay tuned for the next video. The next video will be me doing some modifications to it. And I want to thank all of you for supporting this channel by watching, hitting the thumbs up, subscribing, hanging out to the end of the videos. You guys really make this channel, make this possible for this channel. But also I want to also take this extra time to say thank you to the patrons who also make these kind of reviews possible. This is a all self-funded video, which means this video was not sponsored by anyone. It's just funded by you guys and us in this desire to do cool videos and talk about guitars and get cool guitars on the channel like this LTD Eclipse. And I have to say, I really like the guitar, and obviously I'm going to do the sharpening, but I gotta say, if it wasn't, I bought this for the channel to do a review, and then of course it has to be sold so we can put the money into the next guitar we're going to review on the channel, I would definitely keep this. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time. Till the next time, know your gear.